Now, I did recently I was asked to do a benefit appearance to raise some money, or a fundraiser, that's what we'll call it, for this progressive candidate who's running for the assembly, correct, here in California. What's the district?
Assembly District 45, West San Fernando Valley.
All right,
Thank you, Jimmy.
So now I understand. Everybody told me what a progressive you are. I looked into you. You are a progressive. I've talked with you. We support the same thing. So you're running for the assembly, and it's a special election, correct?
It is a special election because the incumbent resigned because he was harassing women.
Really? And so you're the progressive in the race. How many corporate Democrats are you up against?
Too many. Two major ones with a lot of money from different political establishment kind of families.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you think your chances are of beating the establishment in this race? Pretty good, right?
Getting better by the day. Thank you for having me on. Getting this message out there is part of how we can make the runoff. It's going to be a difference of a few hundred votes between second and fourth place because of 8 candidates in the race, 1 Republican, 1 no party preference, and then 6 Democrats. The 3 of us kind of at the top of the chain, it looks like, fighting for that second spot.
The West Valley, now... is that a progressive area, or is that like considered what we would consider your liberal area?
It's mixed. It's so diverse because California State University Northridge is there with 40,000 students, got a history of activism. Pierce Community College, again, almost 40,000 students again. There's pockets of poverty and low income, Canoga Park, Reseda, Northridge, Winnetka, and then we also have Tarzana, Encino, Bell Canyon, Hidden Hills, Calabasas. So it's that split. So depending on who you're talking to, it's more or less progressive depending on the
That is a wide
geography.
swath of demographics there, right?
Yeah.
Especially economically. My sister went to Pierce College, got her teaching degree from there, I'm pretty sure. And my niece went to Cal State Northridge. And also Gilbert, doesn't former tech... our tech guy goes to Northridge, doesn't he?
I go there too.
Oh, you go there too? That's where you go? Oh, Arno goes there. Look at that. So a lot of people go there. So what are the big issues, and what are the differences between you and those corporate Democrats you're running against?
Well, I'm tired of politics as usual, money buying our elections. This is kind of Democratic Party 2.0, where they say one thing that we want to hear in public. They go into the back room, take money from all sorts of corporations, industries, whatever it is. And the legislation that comes out of it is watered down, liberal, like you were saying, and more of the same. So the big issues that I've been focusing on kind of the big picture: healthcare, education, and the environment. And this has each of them has so many ripple effects, interdisciplinary, intersectional, intergenerational on how we address them. But then, when we get into guns are obviously an issue, immigration, housing, and homelessness, I think there's so many range of issues. One, and I'll jump into it, if we can get into healthcare, education, and environment, the details on each of those. Healthcare, single payer, universal healthcare for all. The cost is worth the investment. We know it will benefit.
So now the Democrats have a supermajority already. Why don't we have single payer?
We should look into how much money the pharmaceutical industry puts into it, the health insurance companies, the way that the Affordable Care Act. How do you feel about the insurance mandate?
How do I feel about the insurance mandate? You mean the mandate that you have to buy insurance? I think that's ridiculous, because what that did was drive up the stock prices of all the health insurance companies. I mean, within a week or two of that announcement that looked like Obamacare was going to pass, some of them went up 12%.
They're trying to do that here in California. That's what the establishment Democrats are trying to put into.
That's what they're trying to do
Instead
here?
of single payer 562 healthy California, they're trying to get an insurance mandate and tinker around the edges.
So you're mandating that a citizen give a profit to a private corporation. By law, you're mandating that.
Not me.
I'm saying, and without offering a public option. That's the big thing, right? So, and that's because people like Anthony Rendon, Eric Bauman, and De Leon, right?
Yes.
They're also neoliberal corporate Democrats. Am I wrong about that?
They're so sophisticated in their politics and how they say one thing in one place, and depending on the situation and the way that the language is altered, I don't disagree, but I'm trying to be nuanced with my language as well when we're talking about this healthcare situation, because they're finding back ways every single day to continue to help the health insurance and the pharmaceutical companies.
You get in trouble if you tell the truth about Eric Bauman and Anthony Rendon because you're running as a Democrat?
I've been telling the truth. I'm about speaking truth to power.
You get in trouble for it?
And, some people are more critical. I'm just trying, I'm a bridge builder, not a wall builder.
That's good.
So I'm trying to, whatever happens, I'm being critical of the establishment. You hear it.
Yeah.
But then when I win, I need to be in a position to bring people along with us.
Okay. All right, we need to call out those corporate Democrats. You know, I talk about Anthony Rendon. He pretends that he's for single payer, and he says, I was for single payer before I ever heard of Obamacare. And I'm like, well, isn't that weird that you've been for it all this time, and you've been in politics, and you're an ambitious son of a gun because you're the Speaker of the Assembly, yet you don't have a plan in place to implement that thing you said you've known about for over 10 years. So that doesn't make any sense. So that's when my BS detector goes off. And I know Anthony Rendon is gaslighting his own people and the people of California, and they're the ones, the Democrats are the ones keeping the progressive policies, single payer, free college, living wage, ban on fracking, all that stuff. They're the ones keeping us from it. It's not the Republicans. My brother just came to see my show in Austin. He goes, how come you don't make fun of the Republicans? Because I live in California and I see what happens when you get rid of the Republicans. The corporations buy the Democrats.
That's
and now
exactly
I'm living in a Democratic Party that has been captured by corporate money. And that's why we can't have nice things in California. But you're going to change that?
We're going to change that. And one big point is education, the full funding of public education. The last 3 years, I actually worked for LAUSD, the Los Angeles Unified School District, as a school community coordinator. I actually ran for school board in 2015. I didn't win. The guy who won, even though he's a Republican, a pro-union, a teacher, a counselor, a principal, still picks up trash when he visits school sites. Scott Schmerlson was able to hire me, again, about building bridges, focusing on the issues that matter. And so for the last 3 years, I worked for the school district and seeing how the charter schools, how the privatization of public education at the state level, how McGraw-Hill and Pearson and these private billion-dollar corporations are affecting our textbooks, right? Not including the real history, not including women's contributions, and still pushing.
Women contribute? What?
So you're good. So how much of a change can you affect as a assembly member?
Well, I think I'm the tip of the spear on this race, right? In this cycle. It's a special election, April 3rd, June 5th, November. We've been hearing about the midterms. This is the canary in the coal mine. Are we as progressives going to be able to organize, mobilize, and activate in a low turnout election where our message is resonating? We're targeting Democrats. It's going to be a few hundred votes. Every extra person that comes out and knocks on a few doors, makes a call, text messages some people, it is going to put the wind at our backs as progressives. When we show up in the assembly with this powerful message, they're going to take notice. And actually, when we make the runoff, you can be sure that they're going to line up $2, $3, $4 million against our progressive people-powered campaign, because the only way that they can beat it is with big money.
Yes. Well, I wish you all the luck. I mean, I'm here for you. You're a progressive. It's so disheartening to see people who pretend that the Democratic Party is the answer, the antidote to neoliberalism. They are the neoliberals, and we need progressives like you to take over the party. Now, I don't think that's possible, and that's why I've been pushing for a third party, but I support progressives, whether they be independents, Democrats, or even there's a Republican running right now, Sam Ronan, as a progressive in Ohio. So I'll support progressives no matter where they are. Go ahead.
I actually Dem Entered.
I
was an independent because I had the same feeling as you, but looking at the dynamics of this race and what was happening and how it was going, I was running against the incumbent before he resigned, right? He was the $1 million chair of the banking committee and had all that power. No one wanted to go against him. I got into the race because of this. And once he resigned, now you have all this other stuff. So I Dem Entered thinking that, not that I'm going to change the Democratic Party, but we're going to bring up these issues. We're going to talk to more people. We're going to organize, mobilize, and we're going to make a difference. We're in a climate crisis, right? Not just an emergency. The planet is dying, and these typical establishment politics isn't going to do enough to change it. We need a state bank of California. We need to think big. We need to invest public resources to solve the problems that are facing our society, not just healthcare, education, and environment, but across the board. Again, Jimmy, thank you for having me on your wonderful show. Hopefully the progressives can come out for our campaign. This is GOTV weekend. We were canvassing, door knocking, phone banking. Ankurforassembly.com, ANKURFOR assembly.com. Volunteer, donate. Keep listening to Jimmy.
So tell me, how does Dem Entering... So I don't understand. Like, I think that you actually reformed their Democratic Party by making it so they can't win without you. They already can't, and they still didn't care. They'd rather lose to Donald Trump than let a progressive win. So
I ran for office twice. I ran for city controller in 2013 and school board in 2015 as an independent, as a declined to state.
And
so looking at the dynamics of who listens and just the sheer numbers, it's kind of a reality.
So you're saying that you had to become a Democrat in order for people to listen to you?
It opened doors, the endorsement process. This is interesting. The California Democratic Party, when they endorse, they get involved in this. We were able to block the state party from endorsing one of the establishment candidates, and that caused a lot of machinations. You have to pay $250 just to apply for their endorsement. They give you a list of delegates who can vote. They gave me 53 delegates. 3 weren't on the actual delegates. They changed the list. They gave the other candidates the actual list, and they gave me, 3 out of 53 still mostly accurate. Bad addresses, bad phone numbers, and I'm working this list to try and make sure that.
Yeah, I get it. And so this is what I'm talking about. Like this, they're literally working against progressives. So I don't know why progressives want to be inside the Democratic Party, but you're saying it's because you're not viable unless you're inside the Democratic Party.
I hate that word viable. I think ideas make this campaign of volunteer powered, the number of people we talk to, the amount of media we get, that all that combined along with the capacity and capability of a candidate who can articulate a message, listen, take it and share it, that makes the viability. But the Democratic Party is just, I'm frustrated with it just like you are. Just how the duopoly, right, is turned into something that just feeds us into this lesser evil.
They literally cheat me. The Democratic Party, on purpose, consciously, have policies in place to cheat people like me and you. And so everybody's like, and Bernie's whole thing is, and a lot of people are thinking, let's take over the party. Hey, we thought we took over the party in January of 2017. Everybody showed up and we voted in a slate of progressive delegates. Turns out they have super delegates on the state level also, so they cheated us. And literally the chairman of the party said, shut up or get the F out. Right? You know that.
So I got
the F out.
So some of these delegates that were elected in that cycle have been full on board with our campaign, and we're learning the insides of the party, where these power structures are, who makes which decisions, and we're pulling them. We're changing them. We're splitting the Democratic clubs, the individual clubs. I've actually gotten endorsements of Democratic clubs. So just across the board, people at the top, don't listen to people at the bottom. Democratic Party, Republican Party, some unions, definitely corporations, definitely the military industrial complex. People at the top, don't listen to people at the bottom. We're coming in with this energy and making them listen to us. Okay,
well, if you could get a state bank in California, that would be a game changer.
Yeah,
don't you think?
Huge. It's going to be huge.
It would. It's the equivalent of, I think, of getting the public option for healthcare. It's a game changer. It makes people know that, hey, government works. If you do it right, government can work. When government is trying to help people and you do it correctly, government works, right? And so that's the opposite message that you get today from the establishment, from the conservatives, and even from the neoliberal Democrats. That they want a hybrid government, but they always want to have a private profit motive, like charter schools. Now you're not for charter schools.
No, charter schools so nuanced, so interesting. We got independent charter schools, affiliated charter schools, conversion charter schools, and we got public schools that have magnet programs. And one specific one, and I don't know how much time we have, and again, I appreciate the opportunity. Proposition 39 allows charter schools, independent charter schools, to take space from public schools if it's not being used. So now if you have a public school with low enrollment, 500 kids, 1,000 seats, fine, maybe that makes sense, and that was the logic. Now they're taking things like the parent center, the music room, the weight room, the computer lab, and they're saying that's not education related, and then they're saying the public school system doesn't provide these alternative opportunities. So the charter school game is, and my opponent, one of my major opponents, has gotten $200,000 in charter school money flowing in every single way, and he's not even a big charter school guy. But because the charter school is playing at this political level with all of this money, and they know it matters.
Yeah.
They're betting on their horses.
So, and if you want to know the kind of people who are pro-charter school, Cory Booker, the guy who made sure we don't have reimportation of cheaper drugs from Canada. He owes his career to Betsy DeVos, who's missed charter school. He said that. I'm not saying that. He said that. So that's the kind of people who are involved with charter schools. They're not about educating kids. They're about extracting wealth from the community and using education to do it. It's the commodification of education, of human beings. It's neoliberalism on steroids. Privatizing public education is one of the worst ideas in the world. And I have to remind people that schools don't fail communities. When you go to thriving communities, the schools are thriving. When you go to failing communities, the schools are failing. And you can't have a school fix an unemployment problem inside of a community. You have to actually have an economic development that fixes the economic problem inside of a community, not a teacher. Okay. So I'm sorry, that's my little speech. But
I can give you one more thing on charter schools. So We had El Camino High School and Granada Hills High School in Assembly District 45. Granada Hills just outside. Great schools. Wins academic decathlons, top of the tier. They were good before they went charter. Then they went independent charter, and now they're doing the things that made them good even more of, right? They're doing that even better. And part of that is the marketing. Some of it is the demographics. And I say that with a little smile because the details of who goes to which schools matters a lot too. And then, charter schools in what, the 60s and late 50s, segregation. How do you make sure that the money, public money, goes to the institutions that you support? So down south, charter schools were a little bit racist to start off with.
Got you. Well, yeah, sure. They had to send the 101st Airborne Division in to make sure they could go to school in public schools down there. So, well, listen, Anchor, I'm pronouncing that correct, right? Anchor?
Anchor, Encore. However,
Encore. Like encore, like a standing ovation.
All good.
Encore. Okay, Ankur Patel, running in what is the district?
Assembly District 45.
Assembly District 45. It's a special election. It's this Tuesday in Los Angeles, so go.
And you're pro what again? What are the things that you're pro for?
He's
No,
for
I
a
want to
state
hear him say it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a big proponent of single-payer universal health care for all. We should all be on the side of clean air, clean water, and clean energy. And I'm for the full funding of public education.
All right. And how about unions?
Oh, absolutely. And if I got another second,
Yes.
the unions are way complicated. I've been endorsed by the California Nurses Association, the
Great.
California Teachers Association, United Teachers Los Angeles, Communication Workers of America. There's other unions that have endorsed other candidates for some of these political purposes, right? SEIU tends to go with the establishment. City unions tend to go with folks who know how to deal with city business. And so the unions are very pro-worker, absolutely, but all unions aren't made equally.
Yeah, I know. Union just endorsed William Lipinski in Chicago, where I'm from, and he's very right wing. He voted against the Affordable Care Act. He's anti-abortion, but he's a Democrat, right? And so the unions actually supported him because he supported certain legislation that was important to him, even though he's anti-progressive on every other issue. So yes, I understand the complications when it comes to unions, but it's good to hear that the California Nurses Union has endorsed you. Roseanne DeMoro is fantastic. She's got a good divining rod on who's a good politician and who's a good candidate. So that's a good endorsement to have. So it looks like you're viable. I'll use that word.
Thank you.
You've got
I'll
the
take that as a
teachers-
compliment.
Right?
Yeah, you sound very viable. I like progressives who are viable. Okay. Do you have a website?
Yeah, Ankur, Ankur for FOR, assembly.com. Ankur for assembly.com.
Okay, we'll put a link hopefully underneath this video, right, Arno? And all right, well, good luck to you. Thank you for stepping in, and I appreciate you making the drive across town to see us. You got some campaign stops later today?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Woodland Hills, Northridge. I could give you addresses. Maybe we'll post that up later
Okay.
as well.
Okay. All right, well, this is live, but we'll make a video and we'll put it up later also so you can send it around, okay?
And so if I get an absentee ballot, when should I send it in for you?
I would appreciate it if you delivered it directly to the polling place on Tuesday, or there's early voting today and tomorrow at Reseda Park. Reseda on. We can look it up. We'll put that up as well. But there's early voting on Saturday and Sunday. In
Okay.
Reseda.
All right. Well, good luck. It's always good to see a progressive who is unapologetic. So go get him. And he's not a wall builder. He's what do you call yourself?
A bridge builder.
A bridge builder. He's
That's
a
good.
bridge builder,
Nice
not
line.
a wall builder.
You could use it.
I'm a little bit more of a wall builder. But anyway. All right. Thank you, Ankur. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.